Thanks very much, Tim, and it's great to be here on Share Cafe today. And look, it's a really good opportunity for us to take you through Kalgoorlie Gold Mining. We're a brand new listing as of November last year, and we're incredibly busy and we're incredibly focused on the range of projects that we've got out around the eastern goldfields of Western Australia. Could I go to the next slide, please? Very quickly, there's the disclaimer forward-looking statement. You can see, you can read into that if you like, all the content of this presentation, and indeed its full details are available in today's announcement to the ASX, which you can see on our website and other platforms. So KAL Gold, that's us. We've got some high quality gold assets. We've got walk-up drill targets and got an experienced team. We're all in, everything's based in Kalgoorlie. And we've got plans to rapidly build a robust gold resource base throughout the region. You can see there on that very small map, but most of our projects, or all of our projects, are not too far out of Kalgoorlie. That is our base, and that's where we are focused on this range of projects that are in some really quite incredible areas. Today, we're going to talk about our lead project, the Beaulong Taurus gold project. Where we're targeting outcropping and near surface gold just outside of Kalgoorlie. Next slide, please. So very briefly, this is our range of projects. We are accelerating discovery of gold resources near Kalgoorlie Boulder. Our projects vary from walking distance from Kalgoorlie at the Ningamaya project just outside of town to about 3 hours drive from Kalgoorlie up at Perrinvale. So really our focus is entirely on the region. It's clearly Australia's premier gold province, and it's certainly one of the most prolific gold provinces in the world. We can really focus in and zoom in on some incredible areas just outside of town. Within our portfolio, we've got a bunch of projects that are clustered around the regional structures, such as the Laverton Tectonic Zone Group. Our projects there have got bounded to the north by the Sunrise Dam Gold Mine and to the south by the Ramelius's Rebecca project. And we're also looking, we're throwing the net a bit wider as well. So some of our projects are conceptual golden granite targets, which we will be testing in the coming months. We've got a really good handle on the scientific reasoning behind why the gold mineralisation is where it is, and we're zooming in on particular areas so that we can get the most bang for our buck throughout the region. Next slide, please. So I'll take you directly into Beaulong Taurus. It's only, as you can see on the map here, it's only 30 to 35 kilometres to the east of town. It's a sealed road all the way out there, so extremely good access. It's been mined by prospectors since the 1890s, almost continuously. It's an old gold mining centre. It had its own, it's had a lot of workings throughout the area. We've got gold rights on 39 tenements, but comprising both mining licenses and prospecting licenses. And we've got that very easy access from Kalgoorlie as well. I'll be focusing in on our main target area where there's been a historic resource pre-JORC, so we're not quoting that yet. It needs to be thoroughly revised, but that's at Lumas Scott in the centre of the diagram there. And some of the new discoveries that we've just announced today at Knock Hill, Thruxton, Royal Star and Bonneville. There are some brand new results that have just come through on our first pass testing, and we're really excited by some of these. You can see the outline of our tenure there. It's comprised of quite a number of tenements throughout the area. And if we go to the next slide, you'll be able to make out that tenement outline at the very top there. You can see the Taurus Mining Centre in KAL Gold. We've got fantastic opportunity in this region, and partly because of where we sit. Pardon me. The Goddard Fault controls the gold mineralisation throughout the area. And it connects through to the Daisy Milano mine at Mount Munga to the south, where that's over 1 million ounces at 13.9 grams per tonne. That area is run by Silver Lake Resources. They also look after a good chunk of the Majestic Gold Mining Centre to the south as well. So we've got some fantastic neighbours through here. At Glandore, to the south of us, Horizon's not long picked up that ground, and then to the west of us at Beaulong, you've got Black Cat Syndicate working out there. So some really high quality neighbours there in the region for a very good reason, and that reason is because it is so prospective. We know that the mineralisation throughout the area is on almost like a fractal system of faults that branch off the Goddard fault. That's where the gold mineralisation sits. That's what Daisy Milano is, and that's what we think Lumas Scott is as well, and the rest of the Taurus Gold Mining Centre. Can we go to the next slide, please? So zooming right in on Lumas Scott, what you can see here is a whole series of drill holes. The circled ones, both the white and the dark circles, are KAL Gold holes, and there's a bunch of historic holes in the area as well. We've already undertaken 3 phases of drilling since listing in November last year. And so what we've done, and we're doing it in a very systematic way, is to reassess this entire Lumas Scott area and build it up to a new resource with the view to taking it further beyond that. So the phase 1 RC program that we actually completed just before listing confirmed the thick zones of near surface oxide mineralisation. And that was right in the guts of where all those drill holes sit. We've since then started striking out and working out what the extent of Lumas Scott is. So the phase 2 and phase 3 holes in the Lumas Scott area actually focused on expanding that footprint. And what we've done, we've actually pushed this out from roughly a 250 metre strike length to nearly a 700 metre strike length now. That gives us a lot of scope for building a bigger and better resource than what there was previously. We can see that the mineralisation is tapering to the north and south. We're quite satisfied that we have the bulk of it. However, it is still open, both to the north and the south. But we're in a very good position now to go chasing it down dip, and that's not far to go down dip, I can tell you. I'll just show you some of the results that we have here. If we go to the next slide, please. So you can see that we have very, very shallow mineralisation. Listing outcrops, we can actually walk up to some of these outcropping veins and chip gold off of them. Some of the intercepts are absolutely beautiful, and you can see some of the, 10 metres at 39 grams per tonne. That's 128 metres. That's the down dip extent. That's about as deep as the mineralisation is here. It hasn't been tested deeper than that. But near surface, we're finding 3 metres at 7.25 grams from 11 metres in ARC 70. 2 metres at 16 grams at 43 metres. We are hitting quite a lot of very high quality, high grade mineralisation near surface, and it's oxide. It's oxide material, which is very much in demand throughout the region. You can see in the yellow writing beneath there, slightly obscured, it's got where the cross section is. Can we go to the next slide, please? And what you can see here is a cross section through Lumas Scott, showing some of the mineralisation. What we can see at depth is the BD6 and MRC 94 drill holes. They're some of the highest grade holes there. Going off section to the northwest, it's wide open. And what we've got there is an area that just hasn't been drilled. There's quite a few holes through some parts of this area. A lot of them aren't deep enough. And what you can see in the top left of that cross section there, I've actually highlighted where there's active prospector workings. We have a series of partners, prospector partners, who work in with us. They are actively retrieving gold from the area that I've labelled there. And you can see there aren't much in the way of, there's not much in the way of drilling, and there's certainly not much in the way of fleshing that out through there. But we're putting together a bunch of details on that at the moment. We're hoping to say something to the market about that more shortly. But we have plenty of opportunity to check these shallow areas to the west of where we are, to check if there's a hanging wall zone, an upper zone, but also to take this thing to depth. So we've got outcropping gold, we've got a shallow westward dip. Very easy to put a pit shape around this. And that's one of the things that we will be working towards assessing, and we're doing that right now. So the gold mineralisation is entirely within 150 metres from surface at its very deepest at the moment. So lots of opportunity to extend this down. It's wide open at depth. The highest grades are at depth. And like I say, we've got that incredible open pit potential there. Where are we going to expand this now? Like I say, we've worked out the footprint to the north and south. Let's drill deeper and find out. I want to know from this particular deposit, is the oxide zone the main play? How do these surface workings fit in? Do they make another zone? And is this the tip of the iceberg? Have we got a lot further to go on this thing? And I really suspect that we do. Next slide, please. So look, I'm not intending for you to read through all of this. The point here is that what we have is a 5-point plan to define resources at Lumas Scott and take it further. Clearly, once we get to the initial resource stage, we need to assess where we go with that. And if we are hitting deeper, higher grade mineralisation, the metallurgy of that is likely to be different to the near surface oxide mineralisation. That requires additional work. So let's get ourselves through to an initial resource on the area and then see where we go. So we've established the gold mineralisation footprint in grey. We're in the process right now of defining those structural controls on gold mineralisation. That's where we're sitting right now. And then we're defining additional surface targets as well. Our next step, and this is really important, is that we're going to test that mineralisation at depth. And that's our next drill program coming up in the coming months. In the area, there was a 1990s pre-JORC resource. Our work is making sure we expand upon that footprint to boost that up. And so the next step for us to do that is to actually boost it out, boost it forward, and get it going down dip. Can I go to the next slide, please? So the whole story isn't just about Lumas Scott, but we think we're onto a system here. And it's a system that's largely exposed in an old mining area and that hasn't been tested for a long, long time. We're the first company in at least several decades to have the full coverage of the entire Taurus goldfield. And it's probably the first company that's ever held the whole lot. But certainly this gives us an incredible opportunity to assess that entire mining centre as a feature, as something that we can take full advantage of. And these are just a couple of excerpts on this screen from our new discovery areas. So Knock Hill, we put 3 holes in. It was very much a first pass. We identified these structures and identified a bit of geochemistry in the area. So what we've done is generated, or for this last program, we generated 5 new targets. 4 of these have exceptional shallow first pass results. And you can see some of that. I mean, 12 metres at 2.09 grams per tonne from only 4 metres depth. So you can almost get down there with a shovel. It's quite incredible. And then seeing some of the others, Thruxton, for example, we've got 4 metres at 5.79 grams per tonne. It's only 32 metres down. And clearly we need to flesh this out and see what's going on through these areas. And that Thruxton intercept was part of a broader zone, or all of them parts of much broader zones that need to be tested. Look, we'd be happy on first pass exploration of some of these. If you get anything above 0.1 grams per tonne, you'd be thinking, oh, we need to do some more work on this. To get the numbers that we've got here is quite incredible. And for us to actually hit that first time round in 4 out of the 5 prospects tested, we're doing something right out there, and we're going to continue to do that. We've got a swag more targets for us to check out. We'll be hitting those as we go, but you can see just some of the numbers that we're getting through here are quite incredible. I should note also that at the 5th prospect, we actually had some very good anomalism there as well. Can I go to the next slide, please? Don't worry too much about this area, but you can see this full diagram. It just gives you an idea of the amount of work that we're doing, but we've just got this go-getter attitude. We've drilled 92 holes already since listing, including diamond and RC holes, 400 auger holes. We've got 10 targets that we've actually drilled and 4 new discoveries to be followed up. There's going to be plenty of news flows coming on. We've got a rough timeline down the bottom there. We're going to try and bring some of that RC drilling forward because we've already got a good handle on where these targets are and we'll be testing them soon. Can I go to the next slide, please? One of our defining features and unique selling points, if you like, is that Kalgoorlie Gold Mining has an office in West Kalgoorlie. That's our field base. And with our West Cal office, it means that our resident geologists, we've got 2 living in town, spend more time in the field and not in Perth. It's a big selling point for us. We're out in the field constantly. Next slide, please. And just some of the other gold project areas, you can see that we're working. I won't go through them now, but we've got some incredible potential out in these, and we're going to be working those up as we progress through the projects. And we're working all these up in parallel at the moment. Pingin in particular, out in the west there, like I say, we've got Ramillies' 1.1 million ounce Rebecca gold deposits to the south. It was picked up when Apollo Gold was taken over recently. Sunrise Dam to the north, it's quite an amazing area. Next slide, please. There's our share price performance. You can see, as with many, we've taken a bit of hit with the recent market conditions. But what we see here, what I see here anyway, is that I don't think it's indicative of our assets, our activity, our results, or our potential. And I think what we've got here is a very good opportunity for investors before we commence drilling the high-grade shoots at Mascot to get in now, while the share price is relatively low. I want to see this thing move in the right direction. Next slide, please. So very, very briefly, just our investment proposition. Outcropping gold mineralisation near Kalgoorlie, the money goes into the ground. We're just making these projects happen, and consequently, there's going to be news flow. We've got the Kalgoorlie office, Kalgoorlie geologists, more time in the bush and less in the office, and the project portfolio is quite incredible, offers plenty of upside. And the last slide, please. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. We're actually out of time, but probably one big question, if you don't mind. How busy is it out there, and how difficult is it to get staff and equipment? And can you narrow your focus to move into production quicker? It seems like a massive area with a lot of drilling to continue.
Look, it is difficult to get hold of people at the moment. We've got 2 geologists and 1 field hand. We've been trying to get extra field hands for a little while, and we think we've got a couple of extra people coming on now. But the fact that we're all based in Kalgoorlie is great. We've got very good relationship with our being in Kalgoorlie. We've got good relationships with drilling companies and what have you. We can get hold of them very, very rapidly. We can pick up the phone and call them, and it's enabled us to get in there and do work to move towards production. Clearly, that's what everybody wants to do, and we can start by doing that at Mascot, and that's why we're focusing on that area. But what we want to do is expand that out and bring that together as one large system, which we can see that it actually is. Focus on Mascot and pull it out from there.
Excellent, Matt. That's all we have time for. Have a nice weekend, and we'll follow your story with interest.
Thanks very much, Tim.